What's up, you guys? Cece back with another video, and for today's video you're gonna get ready with me while we talk about what money milestones we should be hitting. So if it's your first time watching, hello, my name is Cece. Thank you guys so much for clicking on this channel. We talk about productivity, our corporate careers, and all around how to be a badass woman on this channel. So if that is something you're interested in, I would love for you to join the family and subscribe. You guys also follow me on Instagram for all the behind the scenes footage and TikTok as well. So I have been committing to you guys that I was going to update you on my low buy 2024 year every single month. Well, you know, I've kind of altered that. So instead of just updating you on the low buy year, because I feel like I do that throughout my vlogs, I also want to just have a money chat and really just kind of a sit down on how we're feeling and all of that. And since the Sephora sale just went past, y'all have seen the hauls. So I think you guys kind of know how the low buy went for April. However, I was reading this article the other day, and it was money milestones that you should be hitting in your 20s, 30s, 40s, and etc. Since I am in my 30s, I thought it would be a good idea to talk about some of the money milestones that was in that article and how I'm implementing them in my life. And we're also going to get ready and use all of the new goodies that I got from the Sephora savings event. So it's going to be a nice little long chatty chit chat. Get ready with me. So hope you guys enjoy. All right, so this is going to be a full glam, full beat. We're going to do eyeshadow. We're going to do all the things. I have not done eyeshadow in so long. Well, I did it a couple weeks ago, but before that, I hadn't done it in so long. Like, I feel like I'm so rusty with the eyeshadow. So, y'all gonna have to forgive me for that. But we have all of the goodies, all the new goodies that we hauled from Sephora. Every single thing that we're gonna use today is from Sephora, except for one thing, and that is the foundation. So when we get to the foundation, I will tell you guys where that's from, but that's also a recent new foundation on the market and a recent foundation that I've hauled. So you guys will still be excited to see it. All right, so as usual, let's start with brows. I'm gonna use the new Benefit Precisely My Brow Detailer, and I'm also gonna use the Rare Beauty Brow Gel. You guys, everything will be linked down below. If there is something that I forget to mention because I'm yapping away, it'll be linked down below. All right, so I will start from the beginning, you guys. For those of you, maybe this is your first time clicking on one of my videos, I am in the middle of a low buy year, what I like to call a low buy year. And I will link the video right up here. It'll have all of the info, kind of what my rules were for the year and all of that. But like, just starting from the beginning, your girl is a chronic spender. I definitely have a crazy spending habit, and this has just always been the case, right? My mother is definitely a spender. My mother's a spender, but she's also a saver. Like, the funny thing, my mother has never ruined her credit, her money, like none of that. My mom is like, she spends what she can, but she spends a lot, if that makes any type of sense. Like, my mom is a shopper. That is her hobby. That is what she does. And I mean, to this day, dating all the way back to when I was a kid, probably before I was born, that's my mom's thing. My mom loved a Home Shopping Network, child. She's been watching that faithfully for damn near 50 years. Her and the Home Shopping Network, and they are locked in, okay? So I got it honest. My mom's definitely a shopper, and I feel like me and my sister kind of got that same bug. Both of us are shoppers. Like, my spending has always been more than it should be, right? And at one point in time, it was, I can't afford this, and I'm spending. So really, really more than it should be. Now it's definitely dialed back to, I can afford it, but there are so many other productive places where I could be putting my money. And not only are there more productive places that I could be putting my money, but some of the things that I can afford that I done bought, like, I look at them later and I'm like, wow. Why did you even buy that? Hence the video of products that I was influenced to buy that I wish I wouldn't have bought. That's gonna go right there. And you guys can click on that video and watch it if you have not. But some of the things I look back at and I'm like, girl, why the hell would you buy this? What did you need this for? It was so unnecessary. So I think about those things and just how much money I've wasted over the years with things that I just really didn't need. And not saying, look, I'll never be a minimalist. I'll never be a person who is like only gonna buy the bare minimum or just what I need. That's just not my personality. It's not the personality I'm trying to take on, to be quite honest, but I'm just trying to be more fiscally responsible with my money. As I get older, as my kids get older, I realize our expenses with inflation and just with the things that our kids need, our expenses are getting higher. And, you know, our budget is also getting bigger, but sometimes you start feeling like the spending and the expenses are outweighing the budget. And that's when you got to start dialing it back. All right, I'm going to use some eye primer. I haven't used eye primer in so long. This is the NARS Tinted Smudge Proof Eyeshadow Base. Okay, let's move into the eyes. I'm going to use the Natasha Denona Retro Palette. I have not used this palette in so long. I told you I have not used any palette in so long. But how beautiful is this palette? Is this not the most gorgeous palette you've ever seen? So I wanted to do kind of like a pinky, purpley eye look. I don't even know what brought that on. I just felt like I wanted to do that. So I'm still trying to decide what colors to use, but we'll decide as we go on. All right, so let's take it to 2023. I make good money. My husband makes good money. Probably, you know, still got a little bit of a spending problem. We still spending like crazy, but we making good money. We good. January of 2023. If you guys are unfamiliar, my husband was laid off of his job. So husband got laid off and now it's like, oh shit, you know, we've lost half of our income. However, we have never really taught ourselves what that looks like and how to only live on one income. Never really taught ourselves that. So last year, I mean, we had money saved up too. So we had money saved up. We were able to, you know, my husband was off for about a year. And so we're fine. We were perfectly fine. However, even with money saved up, it wasn't enough saved up that we could still be living exactly how we were living before. And exactly how we were living before was, you know, just not really carefree. Like we had money in savings. Obviously, we're putting away for retirement. We're putting away in like these little savings accounts for the kids, which was fine. We could have totally been saving much, much more money, but we were just spending money, just much more money than we needed to spend. And we could have bolstered up those savings accounts a little more. Well, when we actually needed them, we were using them, which was fine. But what was in the savings was enough for us to live and maybe do a little extra, not live, take trips to Jamaica, Mexico, Tampa. I think I was on the plane like 10 times last year, and some of that was for work, but a lot of that was also personal, baby. We were taking trips and living like nobody lost their job, honey. We was living normally. So with that came putting some stuff on credit. And I think that started pretty early on. In the year after the layoff, because it was like, oh, well, you know, we don't want to work through all of the reserve we have. So let's just put some of this stuff on credit and then, you know, we'll go back and pay it off later when he gets a job. We weren't expecting him to be off for an entire year. But what happened was the job market was and still is trash. So there really wasn't much inventory for jobs out there. And then the ones that were out there, they just weren't paying what we were used to. And we were like, well, we have the money, we have the reserve. Take the time, find the right job. And that's what we did. And I'm so happy we did that. But we didn't take the proper steps to make sure that to make sure that our finances were still good while we did that, and we weren't like going crazy on credit and going through all our money the way we were actually going through our savings. Like, we probably didn't need to spend as much of our savings as we did if we would have just lived a little better. Let's not say a little better, because we was living better. We just wasn't living frugal. So if we'd have lived a little more frugally, we probably wouldn't have had to go through our savings as much as we actually did. But we did. Now, obviously, the story has a happy ending, which most of you, I'm sure, know. My husband got his job. He's making more money than he was making before the layoff, and everything is all good. However, now we're left to resettle our finances and try to figure out, you know, how do we get ourselves, our savings, our investment, our everything back on track, right? What does that look like with his good paycheck coming through, my good paycheck coming through? How do we do that? And then it's also now the stopping of all of the spending, because it's like, oh my God, we have all of our money back. Let's just go back to spending like crazy. And that's kind of your first impulse and what you want to do. But that's definitely not the right move, at least not in our situation. So that's what sparked the low buy year idea for 2024. Now in 2024, we are in the low buy. We're doing it. Are we perfect? Absolutely not. Y'all know that. But we're doing it, right? We're getting it done. And our spending is definitely more curbed than it was last year. And so we're doing all right. We're doing all right for us. For me, I'm doing all right. Now, my husband and I kind of shared a little sneak peek in one of my last vlogs. My husband and I are meeting every single week. Usually it's on Thursdays. He was out of town this week, so it's going to be actually today, which is a Friday. And we're going to meet and talk about our money, where all of the money's going, what debt is that we're paying off this week, and all of that. We meet and do this every single Thursday, and we've been doing this ever since February, when he started getting his steady paychecks from his paychecks from his job. So this is how we are discussing the money, how we know how much we have to spend, how we know how much debt we're paying off. This is where we discuss any purchases we're going to make and all of that stuff, right? And so as we're doing that, we also want to be mindful of paying off debt, but also saving and investing and making sure we're still on track and setting ourselves up for the future, because, you know, obviously everybody's getting older. We're getting older out here, okay? So the last thing you want is to be not ready when the future comes, because whether you're ready or not, it's gonna come, okay? You're gonna get older, retirement age is gonna come, and you gotta have a plan. So all of that to say, that's what sparked me reading this article, and that's where we are now. All right, guys, for the lids, we're gonna have to blend this out a bit more, but for the lids, I'm gonna take this pink shade in Glitz right here, and we're gonna add that to the lids, just very lightly, like tap that on the lids. I actually think I'm just gonna use my finger. Y'all, I was dermaplaning my face the other day and sliced the hell out of my finger. I was opening the blade and didn't realize it was facing my finger. And as I was pulling the cap off, I sliced the hell out of my finger. That is so pretty. Like, it is deep, deep, deep. Oh, that is gorgeous. Why am I not using eyeshadow? I don't know. But we got to get back to it, because that's so pretty. It's so pretty. How cute. Yes, we love. I almost want to pull out some lashes. I'm going to mix those two purple colors and just hit the under eye and connect it. I feel like that just makes for a much more balanced eye look when you don't have the naked under eye. I feel like this look is screaming for lashes. Okay, I'm about to go get some lashes and some liner, and I'll be right back with them on, and then we'll finish our chat, because I can't do this without lashes. This look is screaming for lashes. I'll be right back. All right, these lashes are so bomb. These are the e.l.f. Faux Mink Social Butterfly Lashes. I do not wear strip lashes very often anymore, but these are gorgeous, right? I love these so much. All right, let's jump into the face, and we're gonna talk about the money milestones that I want to hit before I get out of my 30s. And that may not all be possible. Some of them, they may spill into the 40s. If you are not in your 30s, that is okay. If you're in your 40s, look, you gotta start somewhere, okay? So let's talk about these money milestones, and I'm gonna show you how I'm implementing them in my life right now. So we don't have to stop talking. We're gonna prime with the Milk Hydro Grip Primer and the Janessa Myricks Yummy Skin. This is the primer, the new Water Power Powder Primer. I love this stuff so much, but I'm gonna use both of these. And for a foundation, I'm gonna use the brand new MAC Studio Fix Fluid 24-hour matte foundation. So this is the only item that you will not find in Sephora. This one you can get from Ulta, however. Okay, so the first money milestone that I want to hit is to have 0 consumer debt by the time I get out of my 30s. And I really think that's possible. So consumer debt, we're talking about any credit cards, if you have personal loans, anything like that. I don't want anything like that lingering over my family. Now, what I will probably still have are a few student loans, and we're gonna have a car loan. We're just gonna have that. It would be nice if you could get rid of your car loan, so don't be like me. If you can get rid of that car loan, baby, get rid of that car loan. But we're probably gonna still have a car loan. We will still have a mortgage by the time I get out of my 30s. But that'll be like a 40s goal, is to pay off my mortgage. But we will definitely still have a mortgage unless we hit the lotto, and we will definitely still have a car note unless we hit the lotto. So there's that. But all of the other debt I want gone, and not hanging over my family's head. There's really no reason to have consumer debt. I mean, if you have some, I don't mind using credit cards, clearly. But even once, you know, I get rid of everything, I don't mind using credit cards for some things, right? I don't mind it at all. And I think there's a way that you can do it that'll actually be advantageous to you when it comes to like different credit cards and collecting points for travel and stuff like that. But I think right now, and while I'm developing these good money habits, getting rid of all consumer debt and keeping it gone for a while is the best way to go for me and my family. The next money milestone that I think is important in your 30s is to fix your credit score. So that is something that I've been working on since my 20s, and I actually did fix my credit score in the last like 5 years. I actually have fixed my credit score. My credit score is in the low 700s. So the goal is to hopefully get that into the high 700s. I mean, I'm fine with it being in the low 700s. Look, there was a point in time it was in the 500s, okay? So just being very real with you guys, like, fixing your credit score is so advantageous to you. And look, I've been like watching, so I read like Dave Ramsey's book. We all know who Dave Ramsey is, right? I've read Dave Ramsey's book years ago, and I always thought it was a good concept, but it was just a little, I always thought it was a little out of date, right? So Dave Ramsey has this philosophy that basically credit scores don't matter. He wants a 0 credit score because he does not want to have credit at all. He's like, credit scores are just, you know, how much debt, they're just your score of how much you use someone else's money and how much you use debt, and you should be using cash for everything you buy. Sounds nice. but just not realistic for most people. And obviously, if you want to buy a house, if you want to refinance your mortgage to get a lower interest rate, or cars or anything like that, like you're gonna have to have a decent credit score. So my credit score, like I said, is in the low 700s, and the goal is to hopefully get it into the high 700s. And I have been working on that that's something that I've been working on pretty much since I've gotten into my 30s, is rebuilding my credit. Like, Mark and I have talked about it before, but our financial history is super rocky. Like, both of us are learning how to do these things and learning how to be adults and deal with money and deal with emergencies that come up and deal with financial crisis that comes up. Like, clearly last year, one of us not having a job, thank God, we had pretty okay habits and good saving habits before that, but that would have killed us before, right? We would have never been able to make it through that scenario, call it 6-7 years ago. There's no way we would have made it through that scenario for as long as we did, for as good as we were. No way. Absolutely no way. We would have been like on the street somewhere. And you guys, even like as bad as we were with spending and everything last year, even with all of that, y'all, we still when I say like we do have some consumer debt to pay off. We have a good amount of consumer debt to pay off, but it's nothing like super crazy or super overwhelming. If we really buckle down and we're like, I didn't let the concealer dry. Darn it. See, that's why I can't talk and do makeup. I'm wearing the Tower 28 concealer. I have the shade number. What shade is this? I'll put it down below, but I have the Tower 28 concealer. This is also a new pickup for me. But anyway, if this would have happened 6-7 years ago, we would have been done, right? But thank God we were able, we had the savings. And then on top of that, when I say we have consumer debt, like it's nothing. If we buckle, it's something. Let's not say it's nothing, because it's something. But if we buckled down and was like really, we're gonna just only focus on this debt. We're not going to buy anything else. We're not going to travel. We're not going to do anything this year. And we're going to put every single dime we have towards this debt. We could probably be out of it by the end of the year. So it's nothing like super crazy, but that's just not our MO, right? And I don't know. I feel like something could happen to either one of us at any time. And I don't want the last thing that we did, to have this year where we absolutely did nothing but pay off debt. That's not how I want to live my life. And maybe that sounds stupid. Maybe you like, girl, you should be getting out of that debt as fast as you can. I get it. But that's just not how I want to live my life. My husband is on the same page, and that's kind of where we are. It's just not. It's not the way we want to live life. You know what I mean? We're paying off our debt aggressively, but just not to the point where we're not going to live life. But I say all that to say, having your credit score, having a good credit score, that is good for you. And that is good for interest rates and everything else. So say you do want to buy a house. Most people cannot buy a house cash, okay? It's just not going to happen. So say you do want to go out there and purchase a home. Even like having your credit score high, even just like a 0.5% lower interest rate, even just a 0.5% lower interest rate makes a huge ass difference in your mortgage payment. Also, what is it? Private mortgage insurance, PMI. Your PMI that you pay along with your mortgage, like your PMI, if you got your credit score higher, you wouldn't need to have PMI. And that could take, depending on your mortgage, that could probably take anywhere from $400 to $900 off of your mortgage each month. So having a good credit score makes a difference. And I'm definitely working on getting mine even higher. You guys, this powder is so beautiful. This is the new Hourglass translucent tan powder. This is about to be my new favorite powder. It is so pretty. Well, I'm sorry, it's called the Vanish Airbrush Press Powder, but I got mine in translucent tan. Oh, it's so blurring and beautiful. Girl, this powder is so blurring and like, yeah, this powder is just, it's everything. This is definitely my new favorite, like, everyday powder. It's so pretty. Oh, it's so pretty. All right, the next money milestone I want to hit in my 30s is to assemble a financial plan. So when I say assemble a financial plan, I'm talking for retirement. I'm talking for estate planning. I'm talking for your budget, your savings, all of that. Like, you should be knowing at this point where your money is going. Like, seriously knowing where your money is going. And that's one of my goals. Like, at this point, I should know, like, if I've retired today, what it would look like, right? How much money would I have to work off of every month if I retired today? I want to know that number, and I want that number clearly to continue to grow, right? So in my 20s, when I would switch jobs, in my 20s, I would just take everything out of my 401k instead of rolling it over. I would take everything out and use it, right? To pay that tax penalty and use it. I told y'all I was irresponsible, all right? So that's what I would do in my 20s. I can no longer afford to do that. All right. So my retirement savings are very important. If you have a 401k at your job or a 403b, if you work for like the government or education, make sure you are using it. Make sure you are taking advantage of every single match that they have. If you are not taking advantage of matches, you are just leaving free money on the table. And when I say that, I mean like your company matches. Lots of companies will match your contribution. So my company matches 2%. I know some companies match 4, sometimes up to 6% of your contribution. So whatever they match, you need to be at least putting that much in your 401k. And what I've been doing is every time I get a raise, I'll increase my 401k by 1%. So I got a pretty substantial raise this year. So I actually increased it by 2%. So I was putting in 6%. Now I'm putting in 8%. And I'm going to leave it at 8% until I get a raise next year. And I'm going to put it up at 9% because, you know, it's just money that I wasn't expecting to have. I don't really need it. And I needed to be going into retirement and growing as much as possible. So that's really important to me, is making sure that, you know, I have more of a stable plan for retirement. That's important, y'all. We're in our 30s. Stable plan for retirement is important. And then along with that, estate planning, right? No one wants to think about the end. No one wants to think about their inevitable death, but baby, I just called it inevitable because it is. So if you have children, think about that. Think about, you know, making sure that your paperwork is good and whoever you need to be your beneficiary is your beneficiary. Think about that also, hell, with your parents. Like, ask your parents these questions. If you're going to be the primary caregiver of a parent, if something happens to them, like, ask them about where things are. I just had this conversation with my dad the other day. Like, if something happens to you, like, where are your things? Where is it written down? How do we know who to, like, you know, give us a plan, right? And I'm hoping it's still a long time off for something to happen to my dad, or my mom. But, you know, if something were to happen, like, give us a plan. Make things easier on your people, y'all. Please. And get life insurance. Get life insurance. Okay, don't make me have to say that again. We're using the brand new Sephora bronzer here. This is one of the ones they just came out with like this month or last month. So pretty on the skin. I have it in the color Coconut Retreat, and it smells really good too. This is our face so far though. We're looking good. I love. All right, before we put on our blush, what I'm going to do is actually set my face with this new Makeup Forever HD Skin setting powder. I have mine in the shade Tan Golden, but this stuff is also really, really pretty. So I'm just gonna set the face with this. All right, next up, we're gonna have a fully stocked emergency fund, okay? Why'd I do that? Everybody's fully stocked means something different. I feel like it could mean, depending on where you are, I feel like in your journey. So before, fully stocked for me meant 3 to 6 months at one point in time. Now fully stocked for me, especially going through what we went through last year, fully stocked for me now means 12 months. I want 12 months of savings where, you know, you're gonna have to pull back a little bit if you don't have income coming in, but I want to make sure my children don't know and children don't feel any sort of difference, you know, any fundamental difference. We can still kind of do the things like pay for their sports and pay for, you know, all of their needs like that. I want that 12 months of that type of expenses covered in a high yield savings account. And so that's what we used. Actually, we didn't have it in a high yield savings account until last year, but that's what we used to get by over the in 2023. We used that money and that's what we had saved up. And I want to get back to that point where we have a fully stocked 12-month emergency fund. I don't think you need more than 12 months. I feel like if you have more than 12 months sitting in that, like that should be invested somewhere. You know what I mean? Invest that money and make it grow. But I think it sits in a high, like it'll grow a little bit in a high yield savings account, and that money is liquid. So if you ever need it, it's liquid. It's, you know, you can pull from it immediately and have that money available to you if you ever find yourself in a tight spot. And with that, in that emergency fund, that's also, you know, if the roof starts leaking and something happens, if the dishwasher breaks, or you just have to, you know, you have to do something expensive, you can pull from that money from the emergency fund instead of having to use credit if you don't want to. All right, let's do blush. We're going to use the One Size. This is the Cheek Clapper 3D Blush Trio. And this is the new shade in Girly Pop. And it has just a cream shade here. And then this is more of the blush. And this kind of the highlighter-ish up here. We're going to use just the blush. I might actually mix them. I don't know. Let's see what the blush looks like first, though. All right, next thing, going back to retirement, we want to have, oh, this looks so pigmented, y'all. Can you see that? Oh my gosh, I'm scared. Hold on. Okay, so the next thing is we want to have 3 times our annual salary in our retirement accounts by the time I'm 40. So that is a lot of money, and I have some catch up to do, which is why I upped my percentage for my 401k, but I'm also going to include that in, you know, my IRA account amounts as well. But I want 3 times my annual salary in those accounts by the time I'm 40, which is over $500,000. So with that being said, I have a lot of catch up to do and a lot of work to do and a lot of paying attention to those accounts. And that is super important to me, because if I have that by the time I'm 40, then that just means, you know, by the time I am ready to retire, I'm hoping to have at least double that. And so retirement looks good for my family. And that's just me in my personal account, like in my personal 401k, but obviously I am married as well. So if I can have that much and my husband can have that much, then I think we will have set ourselves up very, very well for retirement. Oh, that's gorgeous. That's gorgeous. Oh, look at that. This one a little more bold over here. Let's just try to pull it down a little bit. That is so pretty though. Oh. Okay, One Size. Y'all know I love me some One Size. All right, this is the Rare Beauty All of the Above Weightless Eyeshadow Stick in Integrity. I just love how it pops the inner corner of my eyes. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. All right, y'all, let's go in with the Fenty. This is the Demi Glow Light Infusing Highlighter in Rich Honey. Let's go in with that. If you guys remember from my haul, it is broken. I still need to put it back together. I was going to take it back, and I was like, I just really don't feel like doing that. So I'll keep it, and I'm just going to use some alcohol and put it back together. Not a big deal. I was kind of salty it was broken, but it's fine. I'm just gonna use it. I just don't feel like taking it back. So pretty though. I love the texture of these so much. It's not like overpowering. I'm gonna take my setting spray. All right, you guys, so my last money milestone that I want to hit in my 30s is to avoid lifestyle creep. And I don't know if this is more so a 30s thing, but I feel like this is going to be like all throughout life. This is just something that you're going to want to do, and that is avoiding lifestyle creep. And when I say that, that means my income goes up, so does my taste for everything I need, right? So I was making 70,000, now I'm making 100,000. When I was making 70,000, I was driving a Toyota Camry. Now I'm making 100,000 and I need a Tesla Model X. You know what I'm saying? That's a lifestyle creep. I gotta upgrade everything as my income goes up. And that is what I want to avoid. I feel like in this life, I have most of what I need. I have all of what I need and most of what I want, to be quite honest. So I don't like, I know we talked before that I was thinking about a luxury car, and I still am, and I will still probably get that. I don't know if I'm going to get that in January when our lease is up. I feel like that would be kind of irresponsible of me, seeing as how we have things to pay off. We have debts. We have money milestones to hit over the next few years. So I feel like that would be a little bit irresponsible of me to get the luxury car right now. But I think the next lease of ours that comes due, we have 2 leases. The next lease of ours that comes due after, I can't talk and do my lips. After this one that's coming due in January, after the next lease that comes up, I think it's time for my luxury car, as long as we do what we're supposed to do. But I'm definitely a person that's going to live my life, but I also want to make sure, again, I'm not just, as my budget increases, my expenses increases. I don't want to do that every single time my money increases, because then you never feel the increase. It don't feel like nothing. People wonder why their raise in life feels the exact same as it did when they were making less money. And I'm a firm believer, as now inflation is a thing, okay? But I'm also a firm believer that a lot of that is that our lifestyle habits have increased. Things that we need have increased. And that's what's helping keep us poor and broke. Finished up just in time. Look at this look, y'all. Ooh. Stop playing with me. Oh my God. So every single product in my mind was a bop, okay? I ain't had a problem with not one product I put on today. All right, for my lips, I used the MAC lip pencil in Chestnut. I used the Sephora cream lip stain in Skin Deep. And then we went on top of it with the Lawless Forget the Filler Lip Plumping Line Smoothing Gloss. What shade is this? It doesn't say. Oh, lavender sorbet is what we went in with. And I think it goes perfectly with the eyes. You guys, I am in love with this look. Why do I not do eyeshadow more often? Y'all gotta be pushing me and remind me to do eyeshadow more often, because this look is a vibe. It's a whole vibe. Yes. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and it was helpful and entertaining for you. Thank you so much for hanging in there with me. If you are still watching, tap in down below and let me know what you think about this look. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching and supporting and liking and subscribing and commenting and all of that. Thank you so much. I love you, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye.